What's up guys, and welcome back to yet another amazing video on the channel. Today we have an absolutely fan favorite deck, most viewed video on the channel still to this day. It is a ABC deck profile. Been looking forward to doing a remake of this deck, and now just after Eternity Code we got fresh new support for this deck, and I'm going to be showing you what it's all about. So let's get straight to this deck profile. So excited to show you guys my new versions of ABC. Starting off with just double A. You don't need 3 because the only one you want to play 3 of is B itself. All the other main ABC pieces I would recommend not playing at 3, just because the fact that you can only have one buster as of the current ban list, because Konami hates budget players it seems, but you basically just want to minimize the amount of pieces that you can potentially see in your hand, and this ratio has been working well. 3B because there's other unions in the deck that you want to be searching out, so I think this is the perfect ratio for your pieces to be at. So that's the pieces at. For our other package, we've got a Galaxy Soldier package, just make Infinity and extend as well and get stuff in the grave. Just a really good card in general. We play 2 because one can search out the other and we don't need another brick in the deck, so these 2 can just search themselves out. That's why we play 2 and not 3. Coming on to arguably the best union in the entire deck now, we've got the new union driver from Eternity Code. This card is just amazing. I only played it 1 because after you've used its effect, you basically have a massive board and you don't really want to draw into it again. You can always just revive it from the grave if you really want, and then just equip it and do its effect again. So I think 1. I see people playing it at 2. There is a card you could potentially take out that I'll tell you for a second union driver, but for 1, right now 1 has just been fine for me. For another union support card here, we have our support armor here. This is just a monster reborn. Can search it whenever you need. I feel like in other versions I used to play this at 3 because you'd always sort of want to see it, but for this version the deck is just highly consistent, and when you need this card you'll just search it out, or you can just equip it with union driver and etc. So just swipe that 1. Moving on to our gadget package, I just play 1 of each. Again, you don't want too many normal summons in your hand. Just 1 of each does the trick. If this gets destroyed, it just brings out the other one, so that's why I just play 1 of each. Again, traditionally you'd play more, but for this build, it's just highly consistent build, just making up boards and breaking boards, so just 1 of each is fine. You don't want to be drawing multiples of each. This is the card you could potentially be taking out for a second union driver. I do play the Tuna Dragon Blader equip because this is just an absolute blowout card if you manage to equip this to one of your monsters. It just basically says no to the extra deck for your opponent, and if you draw it, it's kind of a hard brick if you draw it, but if you don't draw it and you manage to use it, it's really difficult for your opponent to pass, hence why I play 1. This could potentially be a second union driver, it's just up to preference. Moving on to our hand traps here, I have Triple Ash Blossom because it's just the most generic hand trap and it's always pretty much live, unlike other hand traps like, let's say, Fantastical Dragon, Phantasme, that they need to do something in order for you to use it. With Ash, pretty much every deck either searches, sends, or adds, so yeah, that's why I play 3 of Ash. And for my second hand trap here to complement Ash, I have double DD Crow. This card is just really good in general, this format. Really good against the rocks, really good against Eldritch, really good against dinos, just you name it, this card has a use for that deck, so that's why I play 2 DD Crow. So that's it for the monsters. Now moving on to the spells. The most important card in your deck, we play Triple Union Hanger. This has now become a 1-card buster with a link to. Just an amazing card. Basically always want to see it in your hand, and yeah, it's just ABC lives or dies by this card, so that's why you play 3. Never play anything less than 3 in my opinion, or you're just not doing ABCs right. Now for our new card out of the Machina structure deck here, we got Unauthorized Reactivation. This card is again another amazing card, and if you don't see a Union Hanger, this is basically like a mini one. You don't get to search, but you do get to equip a monster. And you can equip Union Driver, use its effect, and equip something else, special it, and it's just an amazing card. A mini Union Hanger, so of course you want to play 3 of it in your deck. And now for the final 3 of in our deck, just Triple Call By. Just really good against hand traps, against when your opponent tries to get something from their graveyard, just say no. So triple call by I think is a staple at this point in most decks. Moving on to the 2-ofs here, I got double Pot of Desires. This again could be a 3-off if you take out the Destruction Blade Union monster. But I feel like 2 in this deck is fine. It doesn't matter if you banish your pieces, you just need 1 of each to survive. And with all the searching this deck does, this just becomes free cards. And hopefully after you use it, you can see your traps, which I do play. So, because this is more of a going first build, so hence why I play Pot of Desires, really good card. I'm a massive fan of this card. I always play it in ABC. I think this card is just a really underrated card, to be honest. Transmodify basically lets you get Union Drive out of the deck, Galaxy Soldier out of the deck. It's just it gets you a piece in the grave from the field to activate their effects. Just an amazing card. I don't play 3 because you don't really want to see 2 in your hand, and I feel like for 3-ofs you only play it if you're comfortable seeing 2 of them in your hand. So that's why I play 2 Transmodify, but this card is just a really good card. For the 1-ofs now, we just have 1 Monster Reborn and 1 Terraforming, 1 Upstart Goblin. Upstart Goblin is just for consistency reasons, just why play 40 cards when you can play 39. This is another Union Hanger, and again, I think I made it pretty clear you want as many of those in your deck. And this is just a really good card in general, just a Monster Reborn. This can be any other one of you want in it. This can be a Foolish Burial, this can be a Raigeki, whatever you want it to be. This is what Monster Reborn can be. I prefer Monster Reborn, sort of like an extender, a beginner, just a bit of everything. So I do play traps, and this is the first 3-off. We've got Different Dimensional Ground. I feel like this trap is just highly underrated this meta. This is a blowout card against any combo, any Eldritch, any Dino deck. Just flip this and watch them just look at you and be like, what can I do? And you're like, nothing. This card I think is really good. And again, since you're going first deck, you just do all your plays, set this, and their turn, when they're starting to use the graveyard, flip it, and then watch them basically cry. So I feel like this card is an amazing thrill. This could also be any other trap you want. I just prefer Different Dimensional Grounds. It's because it's just it has a really good matchup with most decks this meta. So this could be anything, any other trap you want. It could be like Compulse, Impermanence, whatever you want it to be. And for the final 2 cards in the main deck, I do play Solemn Strike. Sometimes you just need to say no to monster effects, and that's why I play 2 Solemn Strike. The life cost doesn't matter anyway, because this is the only real life drain you have in the deck, so 3k. And life points don't really matter if you're stopping an important combo piece in your opponent's deck. So that's why I play 2 Solemn Strike. But again, this can be whatever other traps you want. I just prefer these traps. So it's all up to preference. That's why I feel this deck is so versatile, because you can play it with so many different cards. Moving on to the extra deck here, unfortunately, we do have our lonely ABC Dragon Buster. It's just patiently waiting for its brothers to come back and be allowed off the ban list, but for now we just have 1. I mean, we do play multiple ways of getting this back from the graveyard. So if this does get called by the grave, it kind of really hurts. But this card is just an amazing boss monster. We all know what Dragon Buster does at this point. This deck's been around for an absolute age. So yeah, only 1 because we can play 1. Moving on to our X users here. 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Daigusto Emerald, 1 Number 60, 1 Nova, and 1 Infinity. And this is it for our Xyz package. So I'll give you my reasons why. Dagaris is just an amazing card in general. Multiple effects and just 2 level 4s. This deck can spam out 2 level 4s really easily. You can either draw, Monster Reborn, or double damage. So I feel you should always play Dagaris. Abyss Dweller is just another way of saying no to decks that use the graveyard. If you don't see a Different Dimensional Grounds, you can just make Abyss Dweller and lock them out of their graveyard for the turn. So that's why I play that. This is your second way along with Dagaris of getting back your Buster Dragon to the extra deck. So he just just refill your deck, target Buster, put it back in the extra deck, draw a card, and then just remake Buster again. So that's why I feel Daigusto Emerald is at least a 1-of in the extra deck. And to the Nova Infinity package, we play Galaxy Soldier, just slap Nova, make Infinity. This is negates, eats monsters, what more can you say? Just an amazing card to take up 2 spots in this extra deck. Moving on to the links here, we have 1 Nightmare Phoenix to pop back row. Sometimes there's some floodgates that are a bit problematic, so this is just a way of sniping them out the back row. I feel like it's a staple. We all know what Nightmare Phoenix does. We have one Union Carrier. This is another new card. This card is really, really good. It sucks that it can't be used for a Link Summon, but this is your way of equipping your Dragon Buster from the deck to the field. This is also another way of getting your pieces on the field equipped to monsters, and then when they go to the grave, so do the pieces. So I feel like it's a really good one-off, really good addition to the deck, makes it that much more powerful. Another one-off here, we have our Platinum Gadget. This is just a really good extender. If you want to get more monsters on board to make more negations, you just link into Platinum Gadget, special one out your hand and continue. This can't be used the turn it's made for a Link Summon, but usually with ABCs you can spam out so many rank 4s that leaving a Platinum Gadget doesn't even matter, and it floats anyway into your little gadgets when it dies, so really good card in my opinion. We've got more Nightmares here. We've got a Nightmare Cerberus and a Unicorn. This is basically to pop stuff when you need to pop them. If they're being a bit of a problem, just make Nightmare Cerberus and just blow them up. And Unicorn, for some cards that are annoying, just put them back into the deck. So that's why we play these. And moving on to our big links here, I play one Topologic Trisbane. This is if you come against any Guru, Altergeist, Eldritch decks. Basically what you do is you make that, and then in their turn you get to Tribute Buster and special pieces underneath, and it blows up all their back row. So that's why I play Topologic Trisbane, and that is also the reason why I play Topologic Bomber, the same effect, just Regeki your opponent. So I feel like these cards interact really well with Buster, hence why I play them. And then for the last Xyz monster of the entire deck, it is Borrelsword Dragon. What can I say? This card just wins you games alone, just lets you OTK pretty much every time you make it. And it doesn't hinder the deck at all making this, because all the pieces, that's the thing with this deck, every time you link you sort of gain advantage because all the pieces get effects and they're not once per turn when they go to the grave. Hence why this deck is just so resilient and never really dies, because it's just a link Xyz spam deck, and then you just make Buster at the end of your combo just for extra pops and destruction during your opponent's turn. So that has been my updated ABC deck profile. Let me know if you guys have changed anything and if you like the deck. This is a fan favorite deck. It's the most, our old deck profile is the most viewed on the channel, so I thought I'd remake it now that we finally got support for it and a reason to make a deck profile for it. So smash that like button and smash that subscribe button too, and thank you for watching so much, and yeah.
It's time! Let's go!